Thanks very much for listening to this episode of a Vietnam podcast. As you probably still know, this podcast is on a long break right now, but I am producing and hosting another podcast called the Vietnam is Awesome podcast, and I'm sharing those episodes here. So enjoy this episode from the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. If you haven't already, go and subscribe and follow to that one. And in this episode, I'm talking to Quan about Halong Bay. So check it out if you want to know more about Halong Bay and hear how COVID has affected the region and more about the sites and the things to do up in the region. Enjoy. Welcome to the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. We'll help you discover the real Vietnam with awesome experiences. I'm Niall Mackay, your host. I've lived in Vietnam since 2016, and I'm the host of a Vietnam podcast, a comedian, and now brand ambassador for Vietnam is Awesome. I came to Vietnam for a 2-week vacation in 2015 and was immediately taken by the beauty, friendliness, energy, and even all the quirks of Vietnam. Now, my guest today is a local tour guide in Halong Bay with years and years of experience. And he's here today to share with you his tips for getting the best out of Halong Bay. So thank you so much for joining us all the way from Halong Bay, Quan. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you.
So tell me a bit about your background. How did you end up working on the beautiful Halong Bay?
It seemed quite a long time ago. I started work for hospitality, like management, hotel and skill. And I worked in the bar in Hanoi. And when I had a friend, he had many beautiful boats in Halong Bay. In the beginning, he just called the junk. It's not called a boat because it's made from the wood. So later on in Halong Bay, they're changing from the government. They want to painting all the color will be white. And then they build a more luxury boat. But before we just call it like the junk. And the tourism started from 1994. As you know, UNESCO site, they will recognize Halong Bay and Lan Ha Bay. Lan Ha Bay is one part of the World Heritage Site for the landscape and geography. So it's be very popular and famous. And that's the reason why I've been very lucky. I met up the first owner. He's the one to offer me a job to working in Halong Bay. So that's how I start working on the boat.
And it's interesting you talk about them being called junk boats, because to me that makes it sound like it's falling apart. And I wouldn't want to get on a junk boat, but I've been on one before. So can you explain then why is it called a junk boat? And does that mean that it's a piece of junk and it's falling apart?
For the junk boat, it's like very tiny and small. It's not so luxury as all the luxury boat right now because they had under 10 cabin. And it's very tiny bedroom and the bed. And it's not so luxury with like a luxury restaurant or the like better 5-star service. So they do more with the chopstick. They do more with like local style and they're serving more seafood. So they do more kind of Vietnamese set menu. So that's how we call it eat a junk.
Right. It's not falling apart then. So tourists can definitely book a junk boat and they'll still be safe.
Very. I mean, it's very safety boat because before they build the boat, they need to get agreement from all the designer and also from the government, like for fire alarm system and all the smoking system, everything like that. So they have to really carefully. And also another thing is for the rapid population, and they need to get a really big tank from the basement, and then they can keep all the fresh water and they can keep all the oil for the engine. And also the junk is they put up the sail. The sail is not like the catamaran boat, like the Western style. So it's just like of the decoration. So a lot of people, they joining the boat because of the beauty of the scenery of the Halong Bay as the world know it. So they build the boat and with the sail up. So that's how we call the junk. And for the design, they call the junk because of the sun deck. They build it like the roof like similar like the pagoda or the temple. So that is kind of the atmosphere from the Asia, especially in Vietnam. So everywhere you can easily find it when you visit the temple or you visit the pagoda. So they had the dragon. So Halong Bay it's a story, and also it's the legend. Halong Bay, we call it like descending dragon. So the dragon, the part of Asia, they really care about it because we do a lot of prayer during the lunar months, like the half moon and the full moon. So we do the prayer for the healthy and for the happiness. And for another reason is for the religion that we don't eating any kind of meat or seafood during the periods of the lunar month.
Now, you mentioned in the beginning about Halong Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And if I'm right, there are 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites as part of the Halong Bay region. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? What does that mean for the region? How does that help tourism and how does it help protect the site?
The beginning for the story is like before the UNESCO site came up in 1994. So the tourism started from 1990 and beginning for the local people at 1991. So later on, people, they find out that beautiful landscape and geography of the Halong Bay. So that's how they decide for the local people, they build a boat. So the first boat I remember on 1993 and 1994, before UNESCO came up, is a wooden boat. And they do only daily cruise. They don't have overnight cruise. And then for the UNESCO site, since they came up in 1994, the first time and the second time from 2000, they recognize Halong Bay is one of the World Heritage Site for the landscape and geography because of the beauty. And they had almost 2,000 of the islands. And here we don't call it is the sea or the ocean. We call it a bay. Because of the water here, it's very shallow. The deepest part is about 30 up to 35 meters deep. And that is go to the ocean. Like you can see a lot of boats. They come up from Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing, Singapore. They came up here because of the seaway. But somehow they need to park far away from the harbor because of the boat is really big and the water is very shallow. That's the reason why the Halong Bay, they had the legend with over 2,000 of the islands or the islets. And for the Lanha, it's a little bit different.
All right. So for that person listening right now who's thinking of going to Halong Bay, they've never been there before, they've seen the beautiful pictures, they know how wonderful it looks. Can you tell me some of the must-visit destinations in Halong Bay? And what are some of the key highlights of a trip to Halong Bay?
For the people who never been to Halong Bay before, they only saw the picture or some of the record or the video. And for my opinion, for the key to highlight come up here, they need to find the trip for like 2-day, 1-night trip or 3-day, 2-night trip or the daily cruise. And there you will find out they will really worth it when they visit to Halong Bay. And for the beauty of Halong Bay, many people know about it. So a lot of people, they saw on the video, YouTube or any social media channel, and they're very excited. And also, as you know, like before the COVID, I get many passengers who have to cancel it. So since they came here, they really like, wow, amazing. That's all what they was always saying about that.
So when somebody comes to Halong Bay and joins on a cruise, what can they expect to do and what can they expect to see?
For them, they very simple and easy. They just sign up to book and they need to choosing the cruise they want to spend time with. And they do the service like they had the people who give them the program or itineraries in advance. So they would know what they're going to do. For example, 2-day, 1-night or 3-day, 2-night or daily cruise. They had the itinerary. So they will just follow up. And also in Halong Bay right now, a lot of companies, they invest really luxury boat and they work with a lot of foreigner people. So the foreigner people cooperate with the Vietnamese and they build up the better service. So for the people who just saw the picture or never came here before, they feel very welcome. They feel very flexible when they're joining and they will have a really, really good time on Halong Bay. That's for sure.
So would you recommend doing a day tour or an overnight tour?
From my side, they can depend on the timing because for Westerner who came to Vietnam, they need to plan at least 6 months or 1 year before they came up to visit Vietnam. So visit Vietnam, there is many different parts, very beautiful and very stunning. So Halong Bay is one the part of the tour for the tour like a week, 10 days, 12 days, or 2 weeks. So they can visit the north, the middle, south, or the south of Vietnam. So whoever came to visit Hanoi, especially they will spend time in Halong Bay because of the beauty. And there is really relaxing time and very chill and very quiet and peaceful and not really noisy like from the city or the crowded place. So that is the reason why a lot of Westerner who want to get really good experience and to spend time in Halong Bay.
So what are the biggest differences between doing just a day tour and then doing an overnight tour or even 2 or 3 nights?
For the daily tour, you can spend only 6 hours up to 8 hours, and you can visit some of the cave. Highlight is the cave. Like for the cave, they have 3 types of cave. For us, we will call like the dry cave or the pipe, like the one you can walking on top with one way in and one way out. And the famous one I want to recommend on the postcard right here is Surprise Cave or Amazing Cave. It's about 10,000 square meters, and it's split by 3 different chambers. Like one way in, one way out, you need to climb up to the top of the cave, and then you explode the cave by little chamber. And when you go inside, during the rainy season, the water, the trouble to get through the crevice, leaking down from the top up to ceiling. It's really cozy, and that's how the stalactite is going up. And for the science, they were researching when the rain season, they bring the acid carbonate and they drip in with the water. That's how they form the stalagmite going up from the bottom. So when the stalagmite, they going from a many million of years, and that's how they create the column. And inside the cave, we call the sparkling rock or the crystal rock that is shining like a diamond. And when you want to go inside, you can use your imagination to think of some kind of the animals. So that's somehow for the Westerner, they're really interested to visit the cave in Halong Bay. We call that is the dry cave. And the second one I want to mention is the tunnel cave. Like you have to know the tide table in Halong Bay really well because the water come up from 1 to 3, sometimes 4 meters high and low, depend on the lunar months and depend on the season, like summer, autumn, winter, or the spring. Because the northern part are very different to the middle south and the south. There are only 2 seasons, but in the north we have 4 seasons. And every 3 months you got to turn on 1 season. So, and the last one we call the open cave. Like the open cave, you can see through or you can walk through. And before in Halong, they really trendy and famous for the organize a special gala dinner inside the open cave. But now in government, they said it's not safety and clean, some of the reason, and they said no, they stopped that. So for the daily cruise, you can visit the cave. They have 3 different caves, and the second one is a wooden cave, very famous too, but it's a little bit smaller compared to Surprise Cave. It's about 2,000 square meters, like one way in, one way out, and they build up the stair, and very easy and simple for the people to walk up there. Well, with my suggestion, it's not for the people who get high press or something to do the walkings, like trekking step, I mean. And then they can visit the beach. And the famous one is called the T-Top Islands. And they can have 2 options. One, they can climb up to the top of the rooftop. It's about 400 steps up to the top. It's about 500 to 600, almost 600 meters high from the sea level. When they reach to the top, you get all the scenery. You can take a really good shot up there. And a lot of people, they do climbing, trekking, go up, and then they go down. And they had a beach, like the natural one, and people can swimming or relaxing or get some time. So that's people normally they doing the activities, and then they come back to the daily boat. They will serve the lunch, like the Vietnamese set menu, or we call the local set menu, or you can do any seafood, or depend on upon the request from the client. Because if someone are dietary, the company depend on what company they will book. But normally we will check the food dietary before we serving the guests. So if someone dietary or someone not eating the seafood or none of the meat or something, so we'll prepare some other food for the people. And then they will come back on the daily boat and they go back to the harbor. So that's how we finish the daily tour.
And then what are the main differences then going on an overnight or an extended tour? How much more of the bay do you get to see? And what are some of the different attractions that you'll get to see by going on a longer cruise?
We'll be right back.
Join pilot and adventurer Fernando Pino as he takes you on journeys to discover exciting destinations across the UK and Europe. You'll fly with him to hidden gems and experience local culture, from bustling streets to serene hideaways and the best places to eat, sleep, and play. Travel Plans is more than a podcast. It's your ticket to exploring the world and its history with a friend. In this episode, we are flying to discover a beachside paradise perfect for the whole family. Discover golden sands, activities galore, and even free childcare so you get your own break too. Why am I still here?
For the 2-day, 1-night tour, you will, start it from Hanoi to Halong Bay. So you will pass by Haiphong City. And before, they don't have the highway. So normally they spend 3.5 an hour from Hanoi arrive to Halong Bay. But seeing the government, they build the highway at like a shorter way, and it's faster for passengers. So whoever can stay late, they don't need to get up early in the morning. Like before, they had to get up early, like 7:30. But now they can do it 8:30 or 9. So the client, they had more time. Don't need to prepare luggage or whatever they need, or the staff, and they don't feel like rushing because we had the highway. And the highway will spend about 2 hours or sometimes 2 hours, 15 minutes to arrive to Halong Bay. So when you arrive to Halong Bay, you will check in, and they will check in your luggage, and they had the local tour guide or the GM. They will pick up the guests and will show them what type of cabin, and they will check in the food in advance, and then people were waiting like 15, 20 minutes for boarding. So when they're boarding, they will have the welcome drink. So depend on the company. Some company, they will offer the local tea. Some people, they will offer like tropical fruit juice or something like this. And then when you check in, you will enjoy the first meal is the lunch on the boat. And after the lunch, you have like an hour to take a nap and relaxing, and then you will join the tour. So joining the tour is depend on the company, because they have quite many options they can choose between joining or stay on the boat. Yeah. And after activities here in Halong Bay right now, they have kind of tea sunset, or they do the cooking class. They will show and teach the Westerner how to make the local food, and they prepare the recipe. So when they're joining the cooking class, when they go back home, they can make themselves the food in like exactly what they touch. And after they can enjoy the massage, they can relaxing on the boat, and then they will serving the dinner. So after the dinner, they will having the nighttime squid fishing. It's quite funny and very interesting, because the squid, they have the season, and the season it is from April to May. That is a high season for the squid, and you can catch like 1 kilo, 2 kilo easily. Yeah, but some kind of Westerner, the high season start from November until March. So during that time, they had left the squid, and many clients, they was not happy because they say, "Oh, you had activities on you said the squid fishing, but end up they kept none." But I said, no. When you go for the hunts, you need to be patient. And you need to, spend time. Sometimes you're lucky you catch it, sometimes you're not. So whoever not catching that, I said, you're saving so many good lives. Yeah. And then the dinner, they go joining, and they will have some drink before they go to bed. And early in the morning is very nice and beauty because of the science. And you can hear the birds singing. You can see the sunrise. Also upper deck, that is really open there. Really big Sunday, and there you can join in Tai Chi session with slow motion, good for the back, good for the knees, and very excited. And a lot of people were joining, and Westerner, they don't actually do the Tai Chi that much compared to especially Vietnam or Chinese. But when they perform, they're doing is very, very interesting. And I really love it when I work with them. I share the Tai Chi session with them. Very funny. And they have really smiling on the face every morning. And that's very nice. And after that, depend on the itinerary. So people can join a different tour in the morning, like kayaking or swimming or not. So that is depend on the hobby of the client, if they wanted to do it or not. So it's not, they have to follow all the schedule. So it just depend on what they want to do. So upon the credit from the client, so we do the service. At nighttime, very quiet and very peaceful, especially during my opinion, the best period to visit Halong Bay, Lan Ha Bay, or Kapa is October and November. That is the best period because it's like just the middle of the autumn. It's not too hot, not too cold, not foggy. You can get the sunshine. You can see the blue sky. And in the noontime, the weather are very chill. And if you had a glass of cocktail up to the Sunday, that's going to be awesome.
Well, so I've been to Halong Bay before, and I did a overnight cruise, and I absolutely loved it. And you're bringing back so many memories, what you're describing, because I remember doing lots of this stuff. And one of the biggest benefits that I thought from doing the overnight cruise was because you can go further out into the bay. And those 3 caves that you mentioned, if you only do a day tour, generally those 3 caves are very busy. Is that correct? There's long lines to get in. You said it's one way in, one way out. So I remember there was like long lines to go in and out, which makes it a little less enjoyable. But when you do the overnight tour, you can go further into the bay, so you see less people. It's even more relaxing, more quiet. And the boat we were on, which I can't remember the name, was, beautiful, exactly like you described. You get your own bunk. Dinner was amazing. You can have some drinks on the deck. And it's just a really beautiful way. I think if a tourist had the time to spend one extra day in Halong Bay, I would absolutely recommend it because I think they will get so much more out of it. So what are those extra attractions that you can see if you go on the overnight tour?
For the daily tour, it's even shorter, so it's kind of very rushing. And for 2 day, 1 night, it's nice. But for my opinion, people should do 3 day, 2 night. Why? The first, they need to pack up from Hanoi. They were rushing to Halong Bay, and then they spend only 1 night in Halong Bay, and they have to check out at 9:30 the next morning. And they feel very rushing again. So a lot of people were saying, like, I came here, why the people don't recommend it that I need to be staying for 2 nights? Because the 2 nights, you get more timing, you get more relaxing. You don't have to worry about how to pack up your luggage. You have to go to the next spot. So a lot of people will decide and to stay for 2 day, 2 night. And 3 day, 2 night, the day after the first day, you will transfer to very beautiful boat, very quiet, because you can go further to the bay, which is all the boats are rushing back to the mainland and only the boat be there. You can see like 2,000 of the islands, is only the boat with a beautiful and stunning blue sky and the weather. That will be the best. So a lot of people, they will joining the 3 day, 2 night because on second day, they will transfer to the boat. They will have the very privacy and they will have like only 2 or 2 people on the boat, depend on the group. But normally even 2 people, we serve 2 people on the boat. They will get all the crew, like 6 crew, will serve them in 2. Which is very luxury. And a lot of people really, really love it. They said they pay what they worth it for. And they're really happy and enjoying. So for my opinion, whoever wants to visit Vietnam, Hanoi, especially Halong Bay or Lan Ha Bay, they need to spend at least 2 day, 1 night or 3 day, 2 night. And if you don't have much of the time, you can join in the tour, daily tour. Also, you can spend time on the mainland, which is very cozy too. Now in Halong Bay, a lot of people, they joining the daily tour.
Yeah, they're very busy, aren't they?
Yeah, very.
What has been some of the biggest changes you've seen since COVID?
My big changes COVID here is the employees, which is a big headache for all the companies because in Vietnam, 3 years, that is a hardest time. It's like a nightmare. A lot of people got jobless. So many people get really tough life. They get 1 meal a day and they don't know what to do. A lot of people working for tourism, they was crying because all they know is the boat. All they know is service. All they know is working with Westerner. But during that time in Vietnam, the government, they blocked everywhere. You're not allowed to do anything. You stay at home. keeping safe and clean. So after the COVID, the big changing is like we have really big support from our government. They open more for tourism and they get less of the tax and they offer more the people job. And now in Halong Bay, they build many, many luxury boats, which is a lot of $1 million. And that is a really good signal from our government. Also, we opening for visa and for the Westerner. So now the science, we get the results from the tourism company that the number is coming up. And a lot of people will come back and a lot of people, newers will coming up here to visit Vietnam and Halong Bay, which is we are very, very happy. And a lot of employees are very excited and they're ready to do the good job.
I'm so happy to hear that. And it has been tough for everyone around the world, and especially in the food and beverage or the hospitality industry, and especially for staffing. And so I guess I would say to anyone visiting Halong Bay is be kind to the staff, be patient with the staff. They might be new on the job or they've been through such a tough time. But I've been here for 7 years now. I first came here 8 years ago, and I've noticed the improvement in the service has become better and better every year. And obviously we have Western standards of what we expect of service, and more and more and more, I think Vietnam is stepping up its training and it's what it delivers in terms of hospitality. So, but again, yeah, for anyone visiting Halong Bay, I would say just be understanding that people were out of work for a long time and it was difficult. But I mean, one of the great things about Vietnam, you will always be met with a smile and you'll always be helped with whatever you need. And it makes Vietnam such a wonderful country. Now, with the increasing tourists, one of the problems that every tourist site faces is more and more environmental problems, like more trash, more fuel, more litter, more destruction of the natural environment. So how do the companies in Halong Bay protect the environment and make sure that the environment is looked after now and for the future?
So this is a very good question. That is a really big headache from the government also. But somehow we give up many solutions. That the first, they need to clean up the bay and no pollution. Why? Because the trash is going up. It's not just from the human. It's also from some part because the Vietnam very close to China. And somehow the government, they give up the first or the boat they build. They need to get the iron boat. So for this story, I need to come up with the junk and the boat because now all the boat in Halong Bay, they had limited. Before they had 500, but now they get under like 300 up to 250 boats with luxury, safety, and clean. So that's how they give you the license that you allow to pick up and welcome the client from over the world. And also they need to get the first is for the water. The water on the boat, they need to get a filter. They need to get really clean and nice because all the water they plummets from the mainland. And also from the tank, it's from the iron. So for the irons, they need to do really carefully. And we had the person in charge who look after all of this for have the engineer from the government. They were checking all the boat that to allow to, working on to get the water, everything on the boat. And also for the oil and also for all the trash. So from the trash in Halong Bay, especially during the high tide or the low tide, the trash is come up and float on the water. So I saw many that, which is very painful. And now a lot of company tourism, they was give up, they're pushing the government. They need to give up the idea like $1 for one plastic bottle or somehow like this. So to clean up and keep the clean of the Mother Earth, who give us a beautiful place like Halong Bay or Lan Ha Bay. So from the government now, they make really strict and they make really tiny. And also for all the tourism company, we have to sign up with the government that if any person working on a boat or the guest, will push something on the trash, you will pay a lot of money. So now they come up with a new idea that try to save and they clean up the environment. So we are trying very hard right now, and we hope that in the future, the trash will be less and give up for us a beautiful place for everyone whoever come to Vietnam and visits Halong Bay, they will love it.
Excellent. I love it. That makes me so happy. I think, Vietnam does have a problem with trash, and it's good to hear that it is being addressed, even at a government level. And so for people that maybe don't realize that things are happening and people like yourself and businesses are making an effort to make things cleaner. So that's really exciting. Quan, thank you so much. Every time I make an episode, I just get excited to travel and see more of Vietnam. Can you describe to the listener who has either been to Halong Bay or they've never been and they're thinking about going again, give that person a reason why they should come to Halong Bay?
From my side, I promise with everyone, whoever not come to visit Halong Bay is a big mistake for them because of the beauty. So I think if they want to get really quiet, chill, nice, peaceful, with, the sunshine, and they should visit Halong Bay, they will have really great time. If they not, I will return the money for them. No worry.
Oh, you've held it then. You've held it from Quan. Quan, you're going to regret saying that when 1,000 people show up and then they all tell you that they don't like it. But I know that they won't regret it either. And I thoroughly recommend it as well. So Quan, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Your boat looks beautiful. I can see it in the background on your video. And the next time I come up to Hanoi, I will let you know, and I will definitely be coming on one of your cruises.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone well and look forward to welcome you in Halong Bay. So whatever I said, it's true or not. Thank you all.
Thank you, Quan.
Thank you.
I'm Niall Mackay. I'm your host of the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. We're here to help you discover the real Vietnam with awesome experiences. So make sure you go check out our social media pages, Vietnam is Awesome, and go to the website, vietnamisawesome.com, so you can see more about tours, read the blog, see pictures, give you everything you need to know about your trip to Vietnam. If you have enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Share it with people. Send us any questions that you have, and we'll be more than happy to help you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease. And I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.